Hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo we just love to talk about. I'm Ben Mandelker, and joining me today, unlike Sienna, with Shep, it's Ronnie Karam. Hi, Ronnie. How are you? Thank you for showing up.
Hello. Well, yeah, of course.
Well, I just was afraid you'd ghost me. You know, gosh, I sent you so many texts, and I just don't want you to deny how much you love me.
Oh, God. This episode's so fun for people who want the men on this show to get their comeuppance. It's so fucking funny. I love it.
Yeah, it was so good. Talking Southern Charm, of course. And before we dive into that, next month we are going back out on the road to the South, in fact, and many other places, starting in on Pi Day, March 14th. We're going to Cincinnati, and then Minneapolis and Toronto, and then here's where we're really going in the South: Charlotte, North Carolina, Atlanta, and then we have DC and Philadelphia. So really, we're only going to two places in the South, but you know what I'm saying. I was just trying to make a thematic tie-in to our show. So go to watchcrappens.com to get your tickets. We're gonna have a lot of fun at those shows, and of course, as we approach those dates, we'll have a clearer understanding of what shows we'll be recapping at those live shows. So come join us, and of course, you can join us on Patreon. Patreon.com/WatchWhatCrappens for all sorts of things, including bonus episodes where we are recapping The Traitors, which just aired last night, and we have a lot to say about it, I'm sure. So keep an ear and eye out for all that stuff. And otherwise, we're just happy to have you here.
Well, howdy, everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sad because I'm not in Los Angeles right now, and I got a video on my Ring cam of a cowboy coming to my house. Yeah. And I don't know what that's about, but he's got a cowboy hat and cowboy boots, and he's ringing the bell and looking in the doorbell. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm reading Lonesome Dove, and a cowboy showed up at my house. I feel like I'm just like secreting everything right now.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great use of the secret. I used the secret last night, which is that I was playing games at my friend's house, and her partner was watching Jack Reacher on the TV in the other room, and I kept on looking over there, and I was like, let me use the secret to make Alan Richardson take his shirt off. And you know what? Lo and behold, he took his shirt off. I was like, see, that's a great use of the secret.
Who's Alan Richardson?
Alan Richardson. He's like the star of Jack Reacher. He was on American Idol back like 20 years ago, and then he's been just sort of subtly getting more and more muscly, probably steroids. I'm just gonna say it. Guys. It just can't be anything other than that. I'm sorry. I'm gonna. That's my hot take on this guy.
Testosterone in my butt, and I'm not more muscly. Is that a different
well, this
thing,
guy is enormous now. He was like he was Aquaman or something like that. And every time he shows up in pop culture, he's just like bigger and bigger and bigger. And now he's just massive. So good for him.
Well, congrats. I keep getting bigger and bigger too.
He's hot.
He is hot. Yeah, I know who you're talking about now. I get him confused between Jack Reacher and then the guy that the Jim from The Office is. He's another one, right?
John. Yeah. Jim from The Office is in something like Jack Ryan, maybe.
Oh, Jack Ryan and Jack Reacher. Okay. Well, no wonder it's confusing.
Too many Jacks.
Too many Jacks. Are they in the same world? They're like, oh, straight guys fighting terrorists.
The extended Jack universe.
Yeah, one of them, I think it was the Reacher one, because he's the one I didn't know who he was, but I was like, oh, he's hot. But I read a headline that he's like, people are mean to me because I'm Christian. I was like, oh, be quiet. People are mean to you because you work out too much, and we're all terrified of you, okay? Just take it that way. Just listen to what your mother probably tells you. They're just jealous, honey. They're just jealous.
Well, he's super hot, and I'm really glad he took his shirt off in the middle of the board game I was playing.
Yay, secret.
Yay, secret. So I know someone who would like to use the secret, and his name is Shep, and he'd like to use the secret to make his quote-unquote girlfriend text him back and like him.
Well, that's the sad part about it, is that is exactly what he's doing. He just assumes that he can pick somebody, just pick some young, gorgeous person, and then you tell them, you're my girlfriend now. And then that's it. That's all he has to do. He doesn't have to ask her any questions, find out anything about her. It's just, nope, you're my girlfriend. And I heard that on the after show, Shep said that this girl had told him the week before Bahamas, she's like, we need to talk. And he said, no, let's do it on camera. So that's how he fucking is. And you see, he's doing the same thing that Craig does in previous seasons. Like when Naomi tried to break up with Craig and he was like, there's no reason for us to break up. Like, what are you talking about? Like that delusional thing where he just won't let you break up. you know? And I think that's what Shep is doing too. The men on the show are so fucking delusional. You don't get to just go pick whoever you want and then make them like you back. That's not how it fucking works, sir.
And also, people on Twitter and social media need to relax, because I went on there and there are some people who are like, I have to say, I'm not a Shep fan, but Sienna was so mean to Shep. Sienna was so cold. I mean, honestly, that attitude that Sienna had was so awful. I mean, honestly, Sienna was way nicer than she ever needed to be. I thought she was perfectly fine. And Shep is the Delulu one here. Don't do not put this onto Sienna. This poor, she just is along for the ride. Just let me see. This guy's too much. Don't act like you haven't been in a situation where someone's been coming on really strong and you sort of don't know how to let them down. So you sort of just smile politely until you figure out how to deal with the situation. People are so unreasonable. I mean, I don't know.
Too.
I have total sympathy for her. And
I actually do too. I'm Team Sienna in this, and not just because Shep's a dried up old, monkey paw, but I think that I don't know where that came from, but I think that she's completely lovely. She shows up, she smiles, she's very nice to everybody, all of his friends. She's very polite. Like, what do you want from the girl? And Craig's like, oh my God, I read her character the second she walked in. What did she do? She walked in, smiled, and said hello to you all. Like, why is she such a bad person? What about Shep's character, who's some fucking old creep who's stalking a girl 20 years younger than him? He's a fucking stalker and he's a creep. And you think girls like this don't have to deal with old fucking gross men like this all the time, just coming in and being like, oh yeah, baby, I'm going to take you away. We're going to fucking get married and have babies and do all of this shit. She's heard it 9 million times, Shep. You're not the first person to come on to this girl. She's a fucking 25-year-old beauty queen, dude. Now, that said, she came out with some TikToks and they're painful to get through.
Really?
They're painful. Her side of the story or whatever. Well, her side apparently is that she didn't contact Whitney at all, because the claim on this show is, of course, Whitney saying, oh, she contacted me before she ever contacted Shep Mother, which is not true. He actually contacted her first on Raya, and she posted the receipts online, which I thought was hilarious. And then she's talking about, basically, she's trying to go on and on about Shep. I wish that I could recap all the tea, but I fell asleep every time. She's not someone who's going to be known as a great orator. Let's just say that.
Oh, okay.
But still Team Sienna. Awkward TikToks aside, I'm still Team Sienna. He's gross. He's a stalker, and his friends should stop. His friends should say, "Stop coming onto children so strongly. At this point, you're disgusting."
Yeah, and I also did not like Craig's comment that he didn't like Sienna's energy. Sienna was feeling awkward as fuck. This guy that she doesn't even want to be with. She's on camera because she's like, well, I guess I'll do this, whatever. Of course she's actually trying to put out the awkward vibes. That way Shep doesn't get mixed messages. And Craig's like, whoa, she's really mean. I didn't like her. Oh, shut up, Craig.
I'm such a great judge of character. Didn't you invest in JD's business? Shut the fuck up. You're not a good judge of character.
Well, I kind of wish he applied his whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Gentry Bourbon. He's like, I gave him $100,000. I mean, he's such a good guy. Person who was friends with Thomas. Person who stood against Catherine. Person who get out of here with your judge of character, Mr. Schmeg.
I don't know. Yeah, honestly, Craig bragging about how he's such a good judge of energies with Sienna, and yet can't even tell that his own girlfriend clearly doesn't want to live with him or have a baby with him, and then act shocked when it gets to a breaking point. Sorry. So,
God, this was fun. Okay, great recap. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. That was the episode. So it's 7:30 p.m. So last we left off, Shep wants Sienna to dress him, and she's like, "Okay, bye. I'm gonna be downstairs." No, but we have to be together while I put on my flip-flops. So
I want you to see me in my underwear. Surely that'll change the course of our relationship. Shep. No, you don't. Okay, here's 2 things that you don't want this woman to do. See you in your underwear and watch you eat. And you proceed to do both of those things. Okay? Don't ask me why none of this worked out. It's plainly clear, sir.
Yeah, exactly. So meanwhile, everyone's getting ready to go down to dinner. Molly has a migraine, so her lights are off and everything. She's not going to come in. Vanita FaceTimes to Sally.
Molly, you need to, okay, this, I'm sorry, Ben, that I keep going off. We're not going to make it anywhere in this. And by the way, I was like this before the recap, too. I just kept talking.
Go off, King. Go off.
I'm so sorry. It's rude. But I just have to say, because this Molly thing.
You're like, yeah.
Now I'm in a cow sweater. What do you think? What do you think of my new
He's taking off his sweater. He's like, not only am I going to go off, I'm going to take off my sweater.
I'm going to go off on a strip.
Andre Leon Talley over there.
Molly, this is not only to you. This is for half the cast who missed their flights. Okay? You guys, this is a job. You have to show up and do your fucking job. Molly just being in bed all the time. Molly, here's what you've given this season. A tuba and complaining about being fat when you're as big as my pinky. Okay? That's all you've given us. Now, I like Molly. I'm glad she's on the show. I'm actually somewhat interested in the tuba journey. Okay? Somewhat. But that's just a somewhat. You need to get your ass out of bed and go to work. Okay? And everybody who's showing up late, what is JT showing up late for? Get your ass to work. You're barely even invited on this trip, sir. Vanita, you've done nothing but shoot dogs with your scenes with your dog, except for maybe 2 episodes this season. And you do get extra points for trying to pretend that you can stomach JD. Okay, I do give you extra points for that. You need to show up for your flight, ma'am. All of you. Whitney, what are you doing?
I know that was shocking. Well, first of all, I will have some grace for Molly. She had a migraine, so I'm going to let her have that. But the others, I mean, I don't know. I had a sneaking suspicion. None of them missed their flights. I think that production was just staggering them. I think production didn't want everyone all at once. They wanted to have a moment with the core cast and then bring the extras in. So I personally, my conspiracy theory is that no one missed their flights. They were on the flights they were supposed to be on.
Oh, okay. Well, that would make me happier.
But if they did, then they need to go fucking figure stuff out because that's way too many people missing flights. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I get people get migraines and all of that. I just feel like a lot of Molly's stuff is like.
I feel like they led with Molly this season,
and she's just not into it.
Yeah, they led with Molly this season. It seemed like she was going to be the next big thing, but then I think actually it really became a Sally season, and Molly has been fine, but I think Sally is the future. I really like Sally a lot.
Yeah, I really like
so people are showing up, and Vanita is going to come tomorrow. She says that she lost her passport, but I don't believe so. So then Molly's basically just saying like, yeah, I had too much to drink, whatever. So now we go back to Shep. This is all we care about, going back to Shep. So Shep comes down the staircase with his lemur arms swinging by his knees, and he's like, oh gosh, is it okay? Can I wear flip-flops? Which, no, he should not be wearing flip-flops, but Sienna doesn't care. And Sienna, in fact, probably wants to, like, her little revenge is to set him up for failure. So she's like, yeah, no, flip-flops look great. They look great. So he's in, like, these khakis and flip-flops. And I say this as someone who wears flip-flops maybe to too many places. I guess I'm like Craig. I can recognize the flaws in other people and other relationships and other flip-flops, but maybe not in myself. But even I could tell you, don't wear flip-flops with those pants.
Well, I think in the Bahamas you're allowed. I think the biggest offense was his shirt because his shirt looked like an STD under a microscope. I don't know why he wore that shirt. You look like syphilis, sir. Why are you dressed like syphilis and trying to woo this girl? Please don't eat. And then he eats. I do love Sienna's face though, because her face in this entire episode is like, and she's always looking down and away from him. Like, just don't look at him. Just don't look at him. Get that signature for your grandmother and get the fuck out of here. Okay.
Exactly. And she's like, oh, you look amazing. Let's go to dinner with other people so we don't have to have one-on-one time. And he's like, thanks. Hey, Karsh, I just want to sit down. Okay. I'm panting. Karsh, I don't know. We haven't seen each other in over a month and a half. And I feel like I keep on trying to get you to start the Vietnam War and you won't start it. And that kind of makes me feel bad. But anyway, and she's like, well, lots happened since then. I went to another country to try to get away from you and you still tracked me down. No, but okay, so what has happened? I don't know anything that's happening in your life. It's like, Shep, read the writing on the wall.
Yeah. Also, if somebody tells you off camera they need to have a talk with you, don't save it till on camera. Because I think in this girl's mind, she's like, I'm clearly trying to break up with you and you know it. And now you're forcing me to look stupid on TV, or you're trying to villainize me on TV and act like we've been together this whole time, which we haven't been. Yeah. So then they head to dinner, and Craig and Austin are gossiping with the gang. And Craig's like, so no word on what happened upstairs. And Austin's like, dude, I haven't heard from him. Like, I'm sure he's just going to join this dinner at some point, right? I mean, like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen with Shep?
Yeah, it's like, of course he didn't come. And then Craig is like, alone. And then they're talking about is Sienna there? And Craig's like, the tension was like, you could cut it with a knife. And
it was
just
like a wall.
The walls in my home.
The tension was like a wall.
I could cut it. I'm a very good read of character, and I watched enough 90 Day Fiance to know that it just like didn't feel right. Like whatever Shep thought was real didn't exist. And by the way, speaking of 90 Day Fiance, we got several messages last week. We were like, K1, isn't that for employment?
I knew
What's
that was
Greg
going to
even
happen.
talking about? Yeah, it turns out there's a K1 for
I knew that
this
was going to
kind
happen.
of bullshit.
I even said
yes,
last
it's
week,
been
I know that I'm speaking from a place where someone's going to write me and talk about how stupid I am for not knowing what a K1 is. But even when I Googled it, and then people were like, you guys really have to watch 90 Day Fiance. No.
It's 90. It's like it's a 2-hour show, right? It's like 2 hours. It's very slow. I'm
That's
sorry,
too much.
it does not. People have been for years. Are you guys gonna watch 90 Day Fiance? I have tried. It does not speak to me. I am a Bravo girly. I expect a certain level of quality in my reality shows, and I'm sorry, TLC does not cut it for me.
Yeah, if I wanted to watch a bunch of old white men try and talk people from another country into pretending they're attractive for $10,000 a year, I'd go to the country club. My dad golfs. You see that shit all the time over there. And you know what else you see? People like Sienna looking at the men like this. Because they're like, hey, honey, I can give you a good life. I can see our children. She's just like, please just take your margarita, please.
By the way, can we talk about something else? I'm not trying to change the subject, but there's something I just noticed in the notes that I feel like we really have to address because it happens a lot this episode. Like whoever was in charge of this queue just had a field day. So we talk a lot about how on Bravo, when something happens, a lot of times you'll hear a tss, or maybe you'll hear a brr. But on Southern Charm, and only on Southern Charm, do you hear the sound of pianists crashing their hands onto the piano keys. And it happened so many times this episode. I was cracking up, and I almost forgot, and I'm so glad that our note taker mentioned that. Thank you so much for mentioning that, because it was like, Shep would be like, so Sienna, I was thinking maybe we could get married someday.
It's like plonk. The other thing that they do on this show, I mean, the music department on this show is amazing. We've always loved the music department. But another one they really do a lot is the rattle, where they go brrr. They use like an actual rattling thing from an orchestra, and that always makes me laugh. Whenever someone says something shitty, they're like,
yeah, so thank you, Shelby, for including the piano crash, because it is, every time it happens, I just think it's so funny because it's also like the most emotionally true stinger that Bravo has. It's like whenever Shep is like doing something right, so the piano's always like, and then he like ruins the moment. He goes, and you're like, oh yes. Oh,
it's
Shep,
also very Shep pretending that he's like someone who would be like, I'm a pianist, and then just you're like, okay, play me a song, la la plunk. Like listening to me try and play after all my piano classes.
It's like playing Super Mario, and you have that beautiful calypso music playing, and then you fall into a pit and you die. And so it's like dun 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 dun. That's what the piano crash music is like. You just like Mario would be like whoops,
or like the Pac-Man do do do.
Yeah, but there's just something so like perfect about all those keys getting mashed all at once.
Yeah.
Well, I know what's going on here because I watched 90 Day Fiance, so I'm a really good read of character.
Oh, really? How's that ring shopping going that you're doing on your own? Okay, so
how's it being negative 365 fiance? Fiance. At least those people got 90 days under the belt.
So then we go back to Sienna and Shep, and Shep's like, I mean, Sienna, obviously we both came out of the gate awfully hot. Remember that time I took off my pants and you said, please don't, but I did anyway? God, that was hot. It was so passionate and wonderful and true. That's true, right?
She's like, we had a lot of fun. Yeah, and then it got hotter and heavier. And as far as what we were saying to one another, like, you're so hot. You remind me of episode 3 of the Vietnam documentary. You really have to watch it, Sienna, to get my references.
She's like, mm-hmm. And then I thought maybe the universe brought us together. We're the Big Bang. Like maybe you would mention to me, whoa, we'd have the prettiest babies. We'd have these beautiful kids who are smart, and they'd be connected to nature and the ocean, and we'd live all over together and have adventures. And she's like, oh, that was in my mind. That's what you were saying in my mind. What the fuck is wrong with you, bro? This is creepy.
It's so much. I had hands over, like, okay, there were two things that happened on Bravo this week that had me putting my hands over my eyes. One was when Harry on Below Deck Down Under got like his thumb mashed to a pulp and his fingernail fell off. And I was like, ah. And the other was this. This is as bad as watching someone's fingernail fall off to me.
Yeah. It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial. It's creepy to me just from being a restaurant worker. When you see this kind of behavior, you break it up. You know what I mean? You're like, that's a woman who's being pestered and has a high chance of being assaulted. Period. You break it up. If some creepy old man is coming onto some fucking model at the bar and won't stop and start saying like, but in my mind, you want to have babies with me and you want it. That's when you're cut off and I call you a cab, sir.
That's a good idea. So Shep is like, I was like, you make my life better. I mean, for the 3 seconds that you're in my life when you answer my texts, and you make me want to be a better man. I mean, want to be a better man. I don't actually be a better man. And I'm just wildly attracted
start?
to you. I know. And I'm actually in love with you. The pianist is like, geez, I just got up off the floor. Okay, hold on, everyone.
And she was just kind of looking around like, And so now, and again, a lot of the discourse online is like, what a bitch. He's pouring out her heart. And she's sitting there giving him creepy.
He's not.
Get out of my space.
He's not
Stop
pouring out
standing
his
up for
heart.
this man like he's a hero. Stop it.
No, he's not pouring out his heart. He's doing the hard sell for her to complete his fantasy of what his life should be like. That's all it is. This is not love. This is not desire. This is someone who has been adrift at sea while everyone else has found their mooring. And now he's doing the thing where he has figured out like what he wants his life to be, which is to be married with an impossibly gorgeous woman down in the tropics, enjoying life on the beach. All is good, drinking your can of Red Stripe or your bottle of Red Stripe, and everything is wonderful. And she's basically saying, no, I'm not going to let you have that fantasy right now. And so he is conflating that with love, and he is saying that like he loves her, but no, he loves that she is the final piece of the puzzle that he thinks he needs, that he saw in ayahuasca Journey Town, that he thinks was going to take him out from the depths of all of last season and all his problems. And she's saying no, and it's going to shatter his worldview, and he's going to have to crawl back like Rumpelstiltskin up to Charleston and be the same Shep he always was.
But I've got a riddle for you. It's like, oh, shut up.
Sheppelstiltskin.
Yeah. Sheppelgarskin. Yeah, I don't even give him enough credit in that I believe that he really wants this. I don't think that he does. I think that he's purposely picked somebody who doesn't live near him and who pays him no mind and he knows nothing about, that he figures because she's with a family that's like a fan of the show, like her grandma's in the fan club or president of the fan club or whatever, she's going to do whatever she wants and just be so grateful to be on TV that she'll just go along with whatever bullshit he says, because he's had the worst couple of seasons as far as how he treats women. So he doesn't want to actually have to treat one well, which he would if he had to date locally and somebody who is on the show. It's kind of like Austin's doing. So they're dating these people who are very far away and that we never see and that will just say yes to whatever they want to do and be compliant. And then meanwhile, Shep can still be drunk every night and go fuck whoever he wants in Charleston. So I don't even believe that he really wants this. I believe he's just trying to cast somebody to fix his reputation. I don't believe for 1 second he wants this, because he's laying it on so thick, like, oh my gosh, all I wanted was children, and you made me think you wanted it too. She never made you think that. She won't even call you back, bro.
Yeah, it's not good. She's just not that into you. She's just not into Garsh.
God.
So now everyone is getting seated and everything at the table, and they're like, should we put Shep and Sienna in the middle or at the end? And everyone's gonna like put them in the middle because they all just want to eavesdrop, except for Taylor, of course. She's like, put them at the end. People online also are being very mean to Taylor because they're like, what is she doing? Why is she even on the show? And I have to admit, I have have defended Taylor in the past because I think she got a raw deal with Shep, but I do think I am questioning why she's on this season. I don't think she adds much, but people are like, she's jealous and she's bitter. And I actually will defend her on this. I think she has a right to be jealous and bitter because she went through the whole Shep circus. And I'm going to allow her a little bit of a victory lap right now as she watches Shep get turned inside out by Sienna. I think that Taylor deserves this, and I'm going to let her have it.
I think she still loves Shep.
Well, yeah, obviously.
So it's hard for me to respect her. It's just hard. I'm sorry. I mean, I've always stood up for Taylor too on this show when it was versus Shep, but now that it's just Taylor lingering around to just kind of still be in love with Shep from the sidelines, it's like.
But you don't respect her because she loves Shep?
Yeah.
I don't.
It's like people. It's like people like who just bought a Cybertruck. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry.
Wow.
If you got one before, okay. But if you get one like today, I'm
By the
sorry.
way, it was never okay.
I'm not going to respect you. Yeah, I do draw lines that way.
If you bought one before, douchey. If you bought one now, it's douchey and awful. But
it's evil.
I think,
at this point, you're evil. You know.
Maybe this is like the softy of me, but I don't discredit Taylor for loving Shep from afar. I think that she loved Shep and she realized it was never ever going to work. So, but I can understand if she's still in love with him. I just think that he treated her like shit, and she realized as much as she loves this guy, she can't be with him, and I think that's hard for her. But anyway, whatever about that. I just think that she is owed I think she's allowed to sit and laugh and watch Shep just get humiliated on this show.
Well, the living and laughing is when I like it. It's the stuff with the, like when she was getting weird with Rodrigo, when Rodrigo was playing the phone call over FaceTime or whatever on speakerphone, and she was, I don't know, it's just that she seems in love with him. And this isn't like blame the victim kind of thing, because I didn't feel that way when she was together. I mean, I get that that's something where you're together with someone. I just mean, like, after all of this, like, you're still in love with Shep. At some point, I just have to walk away, like, as a friend, which I know we're not.
Well,
friends,
it's more like we want her. It's time for you to move on,
I would kick her out of
Taylor.
the anti-van. I would be like, there are people who actually want my help in here. Get out of my anti-van. I would pull the van over and I would kick her out.
I would say to Taylor, it is time to move on, and what you're going to have to do is leave this show because it's not healthy for you. You need to be away from him so that way, like, you can really focus on.
But she's an influencer
things.
now, so she won't.
Yeah.
So
really.
Now we go back to Shep, and Sienna's just doing that smile thing, like, please, someone save me. And Shep's like, I don't want to put you on the spot. I don't even know where we stand. Will you marry me? And she's like, well, I mean, on my end of things, I just feel like we never really defined what this relationship. I was like, do you have a doll that you're trying to throw your voice for? She's very howdy-doody, like, well, I just don't think that we've ever really defined things, so.
She's leaning into her pageant training as strongly as she can. And Shep is like, but you had to have known how I felt, right? She's like, yeah, well, now I do. 100% now I do. He's like, okay, let's just hold it there. Let's have a group scene. And you'll see, I'll be with friends and I'll be charming and then you'll fall in love with me. And he's like, life is way too short to ignore a strong feeling about somebody, in a relationship. I'm like, yeah, that's why she's not spending more time with you. Life is too short to spend time with Shep. So
life is too short to spend time with someone whose life is too short. That's what I think she's thinking. And also, he keeps doing this thing with her where he's like, okay, so this is how I feel. Okay, hold off. Because he doesn't want her to break up with him, and he knows she's about to. And it's just so unfair. He keeps acting like they're having these deep discussions. No, you are having these discussions with yourself. And then every time she tries to come back and say her side, you stop her and wait for another scene.
Yeah. So they go down to dinner, and he like links arms with her, and she just seems so unhappy about this. So they show up and everything. And so Sienna hugs everyone, says hi, and
what a
it's
bitch.
like, I know that attitude that she has of being friendly with cast members. It's just
what a horrible person. What horrible energy she has. She's like, hi, everybody. So good to see you again. I think last time I saw you was at your dog party. So nice to see you. And Greg's like, bitch.
So Shep runs over to pull out Sienna's chair. And Madison's like, honestly, anything Shep does, especially when it's romantic, or at least trying to make us believe he's romantic. I'm like, ew, no. They're like, this is awful.
Yeah, and she's calling it too when she says,
At least trying to make us believe he's romantic. Mm-hmm.
So Taylor is like, this is going to make me throw up. And so, they're making small talk. And the waitress comes over and goes, okay, guys, hi, I'm your waitress tonight. Does anybody have any food allergies? And Craig goes,
I'm allergic to dog.
Okay. So it turns out that Big Craig is allergic to Little Craig. And Sienna's like, oh, join
dogs.
Maybe not the
fucking idiot.
I'm allergic to dog. So Sienna's like, yeah, join the club. And we see flashback of how Sienna was complaining about Little Craig farting in bed, back when Sienna was willing to even get into a bed with Shep. And everyone's like horrified. Austin especially looks horrified by Little Craig's gas. Oh, it's insane right now. Madison's like, Sienna, well, we probably haven't seen y'all since we last saw each other, right? This is my way of opening up the conversation of where the hell have you been? And Sienna's like, yeah, last time I was at that doggy.
Time that we haven't seen you and neither has Shep. So for somebody who's so in love, you sure haven't seen Shep much, huh?
And Shep is like, oh, gosh, I forgot to bring your boots. You left your boots at my house. Oh, well, I guess you'll have to come to Charleston.
Yeah. And she's like, I'll buy more. And he's like, well, what if I wear them? So then the food comes and Austin's like,
Shep, let's go to the bar. Let's go to the bar, bro. Let's go to the bar.
So they go to have their little side conversation. And meanwhile, Sally's like, hey, come on in here, girl. Let's have some goss. And she's like, oh, finally I'm at the fun part of the table. Old man McSyphilis shirt is gone. Am I right?
Gonorrhea girl. So then I'm just trying to make a pun. So
I think we actually titled one of our Watch What Crappens Gonorrhea Girl. Gone.
Probably did.
Aria girl.
Guess what? This is the party side of the table. They don't have dogs here, so I can breathe easy. And Madison's like, I'm shocked to see you here today. I mean, not just because I know he was a little nervous because I hear you've been playing hard to get, but I think that's good for him. She goes, have I been playing hard to get or am I hard to get? I was like, yes. Yes, Sienna.
Madison's like,
oh, yeah, that's what we're looking for. Tell us more about you. None of us have anything going on at this table. Go ahead about you. Go on.
And did you notice that Rodrigo kept speaking in this episode, but they didn't even turn his mic on? I love the production of the production's like, you are not forcing us to deal with Rodrigo. No, we're not turning on his mic. Half the time, you just see Rodrigo's mouth talking to people, and you never hear what he's saying.
He should really be there with Sienna, and then she could talk through her mouth, and he can talk with an open mouth. He can flap his lips with no sound coming out, and they could do a little ventriloquist act.
Yeah.
So he's basically, everyone is just quietly and politely and happily segueing into, okay, Sienna, do you want to talk shit about Shep? Because this is a safe space to do that. If you want to talk shit, you can tell us everything. Don't worry, it'll be safe.
Yeah, and they tell him straight up. They tell her straight up, Shep is this guy, he has this reputation, he treats women like shit. He's never, in love with anybody, but now all of a sudden he's in love with you, and it's super weird. So what's going on? And she's like, well, I love him. He's amazing. World peace. I'm really big on people who don't have an education getting educated, and I don't like global warming either. And they're like, okay, let's stop with the beauty pageant answers, honey. And Sally's like, yeah, he said the love word. And she's like, oh, well, he's a great person, and we've had a lot of fun time together not polluting oceans.
And then we got to Austin and Shep sitting somewhere talking about it. And Austin's like, well, let me be the first to start out by saying that I was very pleased, obviously, that the two of you came to dinner. And Shep was like, gosh, yeah, I said everything I wanted to say. Cut back to this awful moment where he's, talking to Sienna.
We could have babies. We could have little children that look kind of like you and kind of like me.
And but you never let her say what she wanted to say.
And then she's like, I didn't know you ever thought this. And I was like, damn it. Because it's only been a long weekend every time we hang out, So maybe she just didn't know.
So we go back to the party side of the table, and Madison's like, okay, Sienna, I have a real question. She's like, okay. Are you and Shep actually together? And Sienna's like, she like takes a sip and she goes, as of right now, which by the way, you already know the answer is no. If the answer is as of right now, question mark. And Matt's like, yes. And Sally's like, are you exclusive? Can you hook up with other people? And Sienna's like,
can you kind of give blowjobs in parking lots? Is that still acceptable?
Have you ever been to the Ground Round? So, what was the name of that place that she went? She gave the blowjob? The Grand Republic?
The Grand American Round.
Grand American.
Grand American.
So Sienna goes, she's like, well, Shep and I never had that conversation in the first place. And we never said we were going to be in a relationship. And we never said we're going to be exclusive. And we never even said really anything. I didn't get to say anything. He just did all the talking. So are we together? Maybe. I don't know. But what I do know is that I just wish this was a time where we could all come together and realize at the end of the day, we're all people and we can all just get along.
And Taylor's like, I think that Shep has probably imagined a lot of this relationship and I'm enjoying it as a bystander. So then we cut back to Austin and Shep's like, well, are we going to wait and see, getting to know you again? What are we going to do? And she goes, yeah, this discussion isn't over. She's like, I want to talk about our future.
Gosh, it was very adult, which was strange for me because I'm a little boy. And it was very respectful. And then, wouldn't you know it? We are walking over here. And I'm like, I really miss you. And she's like, I miss you too. And then we cut to the footage and it's Shep saying, did you miss me? And she goes, I'll see. And he goes, well, I miss you. And she goes, I'm sure you do. What is it with the men? The show with their unreliable narrators. Oh my God.
I just want to win her over again. Like all those other times I won her over when she wouldn't text me back after seeing me for 2 days. And he goes, I'm just so into her. And Austin's like, yeah. Look, my mouth is saying a lot. And if you could read spit language, you'd understand. But
I can't read it, but I feel it all over my face. So Austin's like, well, I just wish I could see a conversation between them because it just seems to me that Shep is not the best at picking up signals. So then Sienna is telling everyone like, yeah, we're both, Shep and I, we're just so similar, both in terms of being non-committal, and it really works for us. Because when she says non-committal, it's kind of like, yeah, I'm not committing to him in any sort of way. Right?
Yeah. And she's pretty clear. And so Shep's like, what's happening, guys? And so I was like, well, we think that maybe she's good for you. And they all start laughing. And he's like, guys, let's just not grill everybody, please.
Especially dogs.
Okay, Shep, Craig don't really know what that meant. But.
Well, Shep, she checked out to everything you said, your timeline, what you want in life, etc., etc.
Yeah, because you're both non-committal, right? And then everybody just freezes and the girls start cracking up. And Austin's mad. He's like,
Jesus Christ, how we disrespect the males at this table.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. It's like a blowjob in the parking lot of Harris Teeter. It just happens sometimes. So then
It's fleeting, but it happened.
Shep's like, oh gosh, you talked? And so, yeah. And Massey goes, we're not just going to look at her. Sienna, it's a pleasure. And so Craig is like, cheers, Sienna. Thanks for having us.
And so like, thanks for coming, guys. And he's like, God, she's probably a serial killer. Terrible energy. So now they decide to go up to Madison's room and party. And guess who else took off? The camera crew, because we don't see any of this. We just jump to the morning. I want to see the girls talking shit about Shep. Why do you keep cutting out the girls?
Yeah, I want to see the girls having fun and bonding. It drives me nuts. Now listen, the dynamic, the Shep, Austin, Craig trio, that drama triangle is, I love it. It's so great to watch it. But we need to see our women too. I'm sorry. We need to see them partying. We need to see them bonding. We need to see them having fun times because it's just what's right. So it is in terms of storytelling. It's right in terms of, yes, social dynamics, and we should be seeing women should be getting do all the right things, but also you're telling a story in those characters. So flesh out everyone that we're seeing, please.
Yeah.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
So so now it's the next day. Everything is shit. Everything's disgusting. Everything is everywhere all at once.
Yeah. And then Taylor
Shep.
goes to check on Molly, and she's like, I feel like so much better than I did last night. I'm just like filled with charisma for the day. And then in the boys' place, Shep wakes up and gets on the treadmill and then does some push-ups and then eats some leftover pizza.
Yeah. And then Taylor is asking Molly if she's going to be ready for Flamingo yoga, and she is. And Molly's asking how last night was and asking if the Sienna stuff was awkward. And Taylor's like, it wasn't awkward at all. But ... Cut to last night, Taylor asking Shep where Sienna was while they were partying in the girls' suite. And Shep is like, oh, yeah, she went home because Sienna had a stomach ache. So she had to go home. And we see footage of her being like, I can't, I gotta go. My stomach hurts, is sick, upset. Gotta go.
I've been trying not to vomit since I got here, so hope you don't mind. I'm just gonna go. And he's like, oh, really? Come on. She's like, yeah, I gotta go. And then we cut back to the suite, and Madison goes,
Yeah, she don't like you.
he's like, gosh, I guess I'm going to bed now.
So he's like all like, now the foot is rattling, right? So Taylor's like, back to present. Taylor's like, I'm not going to be one of those people that's like, karma, but he's tasting his own medicine. And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't taste great.
So you are the person that's going to say karma. You're just going to word it differently.
Lead into it. Madison would lead into it. That's what I say. I would say I am going to be the person that says karma. And now look what you got. Ha! I would totally be that person.
So then Austin's sleeping, so Shep comes and jumps on him, and he's like, why? Why are you doing this? Why? He's like, oh, because I have to tell you, I woke up early, couldn't sleep, but I sent a text right when I woke up. And he's like, oh, God. What'd you say, Shep? What'd you say?
All right. The piano player's like getting onto the bench, like, all right, everyone, I'm ready. Don't worry. I'm here.
Oh, my God.
You just let me know. Let me know when my services are needed, because I know we're about to read a text. All right.
Jesus.
So it starts. I said, good morning, Sienna. Listen, I love seeing you, and no one else makes me feel the way you do. No one. But I'm not going to try to convince someone that they love me for 3 days. And you're like, oh my God, this is good. Especially when I know that deep down they do. It's like, no, they don't. Listen to the Bonnie Raitt song. I can't make you love me if you don't. Not I can't make you love me if you do. It doesn't work that way.
Well, here's hoping that you understand my feelings and exalt them. Exalt my feelings.
Who talks like that?
I just don't feel this way almost ever. I know that you agree and feel a lot of what I do because I've heard it from your perfect little freckled lips in my head. The same time you told me you wanted to have my babies on a beach.
Small little freckled lips.
Now you're just like infantilizing her. It's just like so... It was so cringy.
When I saw you get on the bus to school, I said, I can't wait to fill her lunchbox. Gosh!
It's like, how much creepier are you going to fucking make this?
Kisses for my Sienna. Butterfly kisses on those pretty little freckled lips.
And those around us can say and think what they will, but we will have the last laugh, and we will laugh together, and literally everything that matters. Live, laugh, love. Okay, wait for it. My TED Talk is over. Yeah, useful reference.
Stuck the landing, gosh.
He just laughed so hard at his own TED Talk joke. And Austin goes,
So impressed.
oh God, Shep.
No, wait, hold on. P.S. Just from one of my favorite poets. One way or another, I'm going to find you. I'm going to get you. One way or another.
Okay, stop. Just stop, please.
Wait, there's more. Okay. And then I said, hey, I just texted you, and this is crazy, but you have my number, so text me back maybe.
Oh my God, you're making me cringe for you now, Shep. Dude, I respect your vulnerability. I mean, that's for sure. You are vulnerable, dude. Vulnerable.
Well, she hasn't answered, so that's okay. She understands what a TED Talk is, because if she doesn't, it doesn't quite make sense, and maybe I should send another text, right? I'll send another text. I'll say, hey there, pretty little freckle lip person. You know what a TED Talk is? It's when someone like me bears their soul in front of an audience, but teaches you things. Do you feel like you've learned something from me? Okay, my second TED Talk is over. Wait, does the joke now make sense? Because now I'll go back and read the first text. It'll make more sense. It'll be funnier, and then I think you're going to love me now. Okay, let your emotions free. Signed, TED Talk person, Shep.
Just over here waiting on a tiny round red carpet for you to text me back.
So Austin's like,
Wow, I wish he would have asked me before he decided to send this. I mean, unbelievable. Unbelievable, Madison. But I want to shrivel up and die for him, okay? I want to fucking evaporate.
and then they just show him evaporating from his chair. They make him disappear in his chair.
I want to evaporate into the Bahamian sky.
All right, well, she faked a stomach ache, man. I'm just going to say that right now. No, it was midnight. Look, guys, gosh, it was midnight when we were done, and she wanted to go home. I mean, admittedly, it was midnight in London, so it was only about 7 p.m. here, but still, it's midnight somewhere, right? She had to go home. And they're like, no. And then we go back to the Flamingo yoga, which was it's basically Taylor and Molly and Rodrigo doing yoga. And the flamingos are just walking among. I love the flamingos because the flamingos were as judgy as we are. We're like, really doing yoga? Taylor, why don't you just be better on this show? You're one season too long. You should have just left last season. You could.
Yeah. He's like, the flamingo just said, have some self-respect, Taylor. And also the other flamingo said, nice to see you actually get out of bed today, Molly. So he's like, wait a minute.
I like that one flamingo that walked by Molly and just goes, tuba? Really?
So it's a wacky scene, and then Vanita arrives at the hotel with Whitney and Ryan, and they get their little wristbands, and they're like, who gets solo rooms? I think that Whitney gets a solo room, right?
I couldn't tell if they got solo rooms but are in the same suite. I'm not sure, but they got solo rooms, and they got like wristbands, and Whitney's like, oh, mother, will this wristband detect a heartbeat if I have a heart attack?
So then Vanita's talking to the girls, and they're hungover from champagne, and Sally's like, yeah, I've just had so much champagne, I don't normally drink that. She goes, oh, well, you better learn bunking with Madison, because champagne's our only option, honey. Okay, Charles, try on the sweater.
Charles isn't here, sugar.
Charles, put on the sweater.
He's not here.
Hold on. Let me talk to my plant. Where's my plant?
Your plant's not here, Vanita. Oh, my God. Somebody get her a crutch.
She just puts a leash on a pillow. You're my new Charles. So
she's putting a sweater on the pillow.
Oh, God, she's really lost it.
She cooked Branzino for the pillow. So over with the guys.
It's like, wait a minute. That pillow just broke up with me.
Oh, God damn it. You really have terrible luck.
Wait, is that pillow JD or is it Charles? A little bit of both.
So back to the guys. There's a tray of food out in the hallway, but Austin can't get it through the door. So he's like,
Oh, Craig, I'm not going to do it for you. You can do it yourself. Mostly because I can't really figure out. God, I understand what it's like being Kyle Richards right now. It's rough. It's rough.
Yeah. And Shep was like, by the way, gosh, I need to read you the text I sent to Sienna this morning. Craig's like, you sent the text that you sent to Sienna? He's like, yeah, gosh, I want to read it to you. It's like, okay, here we go. Second time's the charm. Good morning, Sienna. No one else makes me feel the way you do. Yada, yada, yada. Pretty little freckled lips. It's a rare thing. Very rare. Actually, we get more details this time because I think the first time was the abridged version. Now we hear things like, it's a rare thing. It's very rare. The rarest thing on earth and the most beautiful and pure things. Okay, I'm going to stop, but can we please follow our heart? We will have love, laughter, and literally everything that matters.
Wait for it. Okay, my TED Talk is over. Use vote.
Has she responded to you yet? No, she hasn't. But I think that she's still probably swooning over me when I said, it's a rare thing, the very rarest, rare thing in the world, love.
So Craig's like,
Look, your sentiment's beautiful, Shep, but like it is what it is, you know? It was a good try. It was a valiant effort.
Hey, why do you sound like Austin all of a sudden?
God, don't put that on me. I'm the sensitive friend. I'm the sensitive one.
I'm not gonna lie to you because this shouldn't have to be as forced as it is, you know? I'm like, yes. Oh, I thought he was talking about him and Paige. Sorry, he was talking about Sienna. But I agree, yes.
yeah, and he's like, yeah, I don't know how Shep doesn't get it.
Like, you shouldn't have to explain to someone you just started to see why you should be together.
I guess he put the "you just started to see" as the caveat because I really wish they had put all of the Naomi clips in here because they're good.
What do you mean break up? Like, there's like literally no reason to break up. Don't be stupid.
You shouldn't have to explain to someone you just started to see or someone you've been seeing for 2.5 years that you've now abducted and brought to a bee farm why you should be together and have babies.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
You shouldn't have to force someone to love goats. They should naturally love goats.
You shouldn't have to lure your girlfriend to visit you by putting a little desk next to a cricket machine. It's just that simple.
Well, I put it out there. I said what I needed to say and stopped her from saying anything that she could say. So, that's important. Because when we were at dinner last night, it was electric. It was electric. I felt a little from her, but she won't admit it. I mean, her phone, it just kept buzzing.
Is that why you kept on saying boogie, woogie, woogie, woo? Yes, precisely. Craig, you're huge on closure. And I mean, if this is closure, then that's fine. I'm willing to accept it. If this is the end, I'm willing to accept it. Gosh, I'm not willing to accept it. No, it's not closure. It had to have been opened in the first place for it to be closure, Shep. That was a let's run away and get married message from you. And then they all laugh.
So they're like, well, you're still going to have fun today with us, right? And he's like, okay, gosh, today is my day where I stand around and be super, super sad. Hold on, watch me do it right here in front of this window as I stare at the sea.
I was like, what are you, the old man in the sea? Yeah? She's not into you. Stop trying to make this happen for us. I'm not buying this for 2 seconds.
So then, so now they're talking about like the Vanita, Madison, Sally are at the beach, and they're like, "It is hot outside. God, I would love to go on that boat. I'd love to be like, get me on that boat so I get air conditioning." They start talking about JT and showing up and everything, and Vanita's talking about how he missed his flight and all that stuff. And Madison is like, "Look, this group is about friends, and I'm not being a mean girl. I'm really not. But I mean, if JT wants to come and blow things up, I'm locked and loaded and ready. I brought 3 extra cobs of corn today."
I'm taking him down. I'm taking him down to Chinatown.
I liked when she goes,
Yeah, I want to get on that boat. Hey, Sally, go shake your tits.
so I was like, God, why me?
You're Sally. Go do it. Earn your
It's called
keep.
the SS Great American. Now go do it.
So yeah, JT also missed his flight, so he's not going to be there. So then we go back to the boys. Shep is going to go snorkeling, and the other group is going to go to the fish fry. And Sienna says she's going to come to the fish fry, and we see clips of her being like, fish fry, that sounds so fun. That's right next to the Bahamian Sbarro. Okay, great. Yeah, not touristy at all. I'll totally be there. Can't wait.
Yeah. And Austin's like, "Wait, what?" And Shep is like, "Yeah, gosh, I'm not going to be there. I'm going to go snorkeling." "Wait, what?" And Craig's like, "Well, she can go snorkeling with you. Why would she not want to hang out with you?" "Because all the women are independent. Go to fish fry."
So they're like, wait, so we're separating on a friend trip. Some of us are going to a fish fry. Some of us are going snorkeling. You're going snorkeling, but your girlfriend's going to come on the fish fry? And he's like, yeah, totally natural. Okay, well, why wouldn't you go on the fish fry? Like, this is so stupid. So why wouldn't you just go on the fish fry so you could be around her? He's like, whoa, God, we're our own people, guys. God, she's so not into you. This is so sad.
I know. Craig, don't be all cutthroat. That's not who you are. And then Austin's like, "Oh, yeah." And then he's like, "Well, you guys can talk to her and be friends with her and bring her into the group. And then she'll see it's a cool group. She'll want to be in the group. And when she's in the group, she'll see that I'm kind of like the leader of the group. And when she sees I'm the leader of the group, she's going to love me." Oh, sorry. Another TED Talk. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Youth reference.
And Austin goes, yeah, I think that's a really good move, Shep.
I was trying to be supportive. And
He's like, yeah, you know what I don't like? Kicking somebody when they're down. Okay?
Unless it's Craig.
please. Please. You're one of the men on this show. That's all you do. And granted, it's very fun. I've been watching the show for 9 years now. Don't stop.
So it's like, especially a friend kicking another friend. You know, it doesn't sit right. It doesn't sit right with me. Unless we're ganging up on Shep to like not speak to him at the reunion. You know, stuff like that.
Literally Austin, Craig, and Shep are like the Rockettes all coiled up on each other. All you do is kick each other. It doesn't sit right with me. So Craig is like, he's like, look, you can continue to enable your delusional friend or tell them how it is. I'm not pumped that Sienna doesn't like you, but she doesn't like you. And I mean, why would you want us to be friends with her? Because she's a really good person. And I mean, despite the way she makes me feel, a little boy with a broken heart. You know, but she also made me feel really good. And they're like, and he's trying to say this. He's trying to be like, no, she's really great. Everything's great between us. And he's sitting there and his foot is just like right in the center of the camera. Like things are blowing off of like surfaces and like papers are around the room as this like current of air is coming out of his foot.
Yeah, and Craig's like,
Yeah, but like, look, you know how I am though. Like, if someone's not making you feel nice, I don't want to be fake nice to that person.
and Chef's like,
But Sienna called. Oh my God, Sienna called. Sienna called. Sienna called. Oh, I'm gonna go talk to her. Sienna, gosh, live, laugh, love, live, laugh, love. I'm just a boy standing in a baby cradle who wants babies that look like you.
Wait, gosh, guys, hold on. Sienna's calling. Wait, listen to this. Hold on. Hello, Ted here. Get it? And I'm talking. No?
and she's like, well, yeah, about the fish fry. I don't really know if I want to take that down.
Okay, you're not into TikToks. How about Teddy Swims? You can come snorkeling.
She's like, no, I just like, I'm sick and I drank alcohol and I don't drink and I just no.
And the entire concept of you makes me nauseous, so I think I'm going to pass on this one.
Well, okay, no big deal. You know, I mean, that text I sent you, right? That was pretty epic, Pulitzer winning, poetic. I don't know, choose a word.
And she's
Heartfelt. She's like, yeah, about that text. It was really intense, and I do want to talk about it. It was
not now.
Really
not now.
intense
Don't
and
do it
heartfelt.
now. Don't do it now.
Okay, fine. Well, I'm gonna be over here pretending like I'm puking. Okay, well, we'll talk about when I see you. We can go out on the boat and have a big day, a fun day. See, I'm not clingy. I could spend a full 24 hours without talking to you. Woo!
And she's like, yeah, okay. So he's like,
Okay, well, I'm just going to hang with the crew and not feel any sort of way.
okay, so this is more proof that this girl does not give a crap about being on this show. Everybody's saying she's using Shep to get on this show, but what is she using him for? She even got a scene. I feel like the producers were like, okay, she clearly hates Shep, but we want to know more about her, so we'll just send her with a friend group and not Shep. And she's still like, no.
She's like, I'm not going to that fucking fish fry place. I don't feel like having diarrhea all day long. By the way, I want to go to that fish fry place. That looks so good. I want fried fish. Unfortunately, the fried fish place that's right near me closed, which makes me really sad. So R.I.P. Craven Claw.
It was called Craven Claw. Well, there's your first hint.
And it used to be called.
Is it like a Harry Potter themed fish fry?
And it used to be called. Wait, what? It used to have the most ridiculous name before that. It was like. It was. Why am I blanking on the name? No. It was crap. It was crap. It was like I'm so crabby or something like that. Why am I blanking on the name? But listen, if you the first rule of opening up a fish like a fried fish restaurant is you have to give it a ridiculous name. We all know that.
Yeah,
we all know that.
Dear Krabby. So Shep's like,
well, I think there's something so special that we had that, you know, like, how could you ignore it? How could you turn away from it? I'm a rational guy.
Gosh, Kirsch, yeah, I'm totally chill. This is reminding me, honestly, this is giving me PTSD to my own awful behavior once. I'm not going to lie. I once went down like a Shep path back in 2001 when I moved to Los Angeles. I didn't have any friends, and I was new to the city, and it was like an exciting new time. And I met the guy who played Jan, the cheerleading man from Bring It On at the gym. And he was so cute, but he was also like famous, and he was nice to me. And then I'd run into him at the gym, and then we became friends. And I was like, oh my God, it's all happening. I have a friend, and he's like famous, and he's gonna bring me into these cool circles. I'm gonna hang out with all these cool people, and I would call him all the time to hang out, like so much, where it became actually, it wasn't like an obsession, but it was too much. It was like what Shep was doing. It was too much. It was like clearly this person was like sliding into something psychologically that I needed. And he just like, clearly he was like, whoa, and then eventually I stopped. Eventually I was like, okay, I got to get a grip. And I also made friends, and I sort of came back to reality. But I always think about the time when I when I was basically nonstop calling Jan, the cheerleading man from Bring It On. It's like the most mortifying thing I've ever done in my life. And
I
I'm
thought
bare
that
my
was the
soul.
OC guy. I guess that was a different.
No. Ben McKenzie, I was just normal friends with him. He ghosted me because he became famous. But like Jan, the cheerleading man, I was like, I saw my future of what my life in LA could be. I was like, I'm going to be swept up into this group. I'm finally going to be with the cool kids. I'm finally going to be accepted. It's going to be amazing. And I just got so obsessed with that notion that I was always like, you want to hang out? Oh, well, it's been 2 hours. Maybe you didn't see that I called. I'd call again. It was crazy. But,
well, that's, I think we've all been in these positions, right? Where you like somebody more than they like you, and you end up embarrassed, and years down the line, you kind of think back on it. We were children. You know what I mean?
I'm about to say, the other thing is I was 22.
This
I
man
was
is
22
46
and
and this girl is 26. So that's like a huge difference, because it changes the levels. It's not just a normal thing. It's like him trying to impose his will on some young girl. It's creepy. Like, it's just creepy. Yeah. The other stuff, like, I mean, I think that's like totally, that's cute. That's actually really cute.
me with Jan, like I'd like hang out with him, and like, well, for a moment there, I was sort of in like that little young Hollywood circle. I don't remember if you name some people, I'd be like, oh yeah, that person, and like his wife, Kyler Lee. And I was like, it's all happening. I have famous friends. I'm going to be on the CW.
You text him like,
whoa, it's cold in here. There must be some toros in the atmosphere. Am I right?
Well, the most embarrassing thing I said was, Kirsch, your pretty little freckled lips, let's hang out tonight. Don't deny our friendship. So now my TED Talk is over. No, it's like I'm like cringing right now. Like, even just talking about it, I'm like, it was it's so embarrassing. But again, like you said, kids, and I was like a closeted, person new in the city, whatever. But Shep is old, and he shouldn't be acting like this. It's one thing if you're if you're young newbie in the city and don't know everything. The world is exciting and crazy, but when you're just like an old fart,
yeah,
don't obsess over Sienna.
Yeah, it's gross. Oh, so this is the part where Shep is now destroyed, and he's sitting out looking at the sea, the old man of the sea. He's like,
yeah, guys, I'm just in uncharted waters.
No, you're not.
You're not.
No, you're not. She doesn't like you, okay? So
yeah.
Craig says,
she should have texted you back and said, I love you too. Like, I mean, come on. Like, don't let it fuck with your day.
He's like, it's not. The point was I was going to have a big victim vacation so girls in bars would feel sorry for me and I can continue get laid for the next 5 years to go off that goodwill. So I think it's working, guys. Just let me sit here and pretend to almost cry for a little bit.
So then we go to the girls' suite, and everyone's getting ready. Some people getting ready to go snorkeling, and some people are going to go to the fish fry. And then the snorkel people are in the van, and Shep is like, Taylor, you expressively said you want to go to the fish fry, but now you're snorkeling. What the hell? Taylor's like, well, I'm choosing water over food because I realized if you drown today, I want to.
No, we froze. Sorry, we
Gosh.
froze.
Oh, gosh, I still see you.
We froze at 104. Sorry, Christina, cut it out. Okay, go from the part where I guess you just finished Taylor's line.
Where Taylor said, I'm choosing water over food.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a good call. Good call. That way we don't have to talk to anybody, right? We can just stare at marine life, and I mean, there's just so many fish in the sea, right, Taylor? Right? Right, Taylor?
She's like, came watch you flop around, gasping for air like whatever fish we run into.
Oh, well, this'll be fine.
Do you think that fishes can get text messages? Because I really want to profess my love to that big salmon over there. Shep, there's
I
no
can't
salmon
wait to
in the
try my
Bahamas.
TED Talks joke out on the angelfish.
So now Vanita's talking about stealing all the Balmain. That's exciting. So anyway, they're all gonna head to the fish fry and everything, and they're getting into the van and stuff. And Craig is like, hey, so fish fry people, Sienna, she wanted to come to the fish fry with us and not Shep. And they're like, oh no, oh bad, yeah, that's sad. And
Well, I
Madison's
feel
like,
bad. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, you can speak on behalf, other
I'm
Madison.
sorry. I thought you was done. Okay, well, I feel bad for him, honestly, because, I think he's being a little simpy. He's just being a little simpy. I mean, it's sad, but honestly, Shep has been digging into my relationship since I met him.
And I'm so glad they put this in here because Shep's like, I'm just such a good person. Bullshit. Intercut with all the times he was an asshole to Madison. So we cut back to 2018. And she's like, why are you getting involved in my relationship? And he's like,
I have every right to. Gosh! I thought you were stronger than a tire iron, but apparently not. Yeah, and you know what? Someday I'm going to find somewhere that's sunny and amazing and gorgeous.
and she's like,
And be alone. Be alone, Shep.
he's like,
And be alone.
and here we are. All these years later.
And by the way,
7 years
about
later,
to
talk
say-
about secreting some shit. You go, Madison.
That's why he's obsessed with her, because she is like completing the picture. He literally says, he lays it all out, that he wants to be somewhere with sun and white sand and like in love or whatever. So Craig is like, it's okay to like someone, but then you got to recognize when they don't like you back. And at that point, you must move on. And I know I would do that. Luckily, Paige really, really likes me a lot.
Yeah. So then we go back to the snorkeling van, and they're still talking about Sienna because literally no one has anything going on. Molly's like, so has Sienna messaged you? And she's like, he's like, oh yeah, she did. And I made the decision to take the night off, take the day off, just enjoy myself. Totally my decision. I said, you know what, Sienna, I hope you get a stomachache and stay home. And she did. So still in control of the situation. Yeah. Wow. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's just like a strange energy. I don't know. You got me as to what it's all about. Like, but I'm not gonna. I don't know. Like, don't water plants like that. Don't bring beauty, right? If that makes sense. It's like that old saying. Don't touch poison ivy if you're not gonna grow it in your home garden, right? Gosh.
Don't water plants that don't bring beauty.
It's not your plant. Stop watering other people's plants.
You're watering gravel. It's not
Yeah.
flowering for you.
And Taylor tries to keep going with this. She's like, yeah, like sometimes you're watering a plant that just needs to be repotted.
Yeah, it needs a bigger pot, And Molly goes, sometimes the hermit crab outgrows its shell. Come on, Molly. It's got to stick with botany. Come on. You can't bring it to hermit crabs.
None of it really makes
Penalty.
any sense.
Penalty flag.
And Molly's like, yeah, I think it somehow makes sense to me, but I don't know. So then they go snorkeling, and it's really pretty, They have fish charts.
nice.
That's Ryan's line for the thing. He's like,
Guys, they have fish charts. We can see the kind of fish that we're going to be looking at.
Guys, it says that there are nurse sharks. Are the nurse sharks gonna kill us? Like, no, they're actually really, really nice sharks. They're like puppies. Poor Ryan. He's terrified.
I know, and he looks so cute too. That we don't know anything about this man. So now the other group is having food, and then we see Craig talking about how great it was back living in the Bahamas.
Yeah, because they order chicken in a bag, and when he starts talking about living in the Bahamas. They keep cutting to Austin just like looking down at his napkin or something, but it's kind of like a moment because they want to be like, look, Austin doesn't even want to listen to Craig's story. He wants to look at his napkin. But it's also like, to be fair, Craig has probably talked about living in the Bahamas a million times every week since 2018. That was like his whole thing for the longest time. Like, back in the Bahamas, I would wake up in the morning and go to sleep at night. Back in the Bahamas, to get places, I would get into a car. Back in the Bahamas.
So Sally's like, well, I think the boat ride's going to be fun if that works out tomorrow. And he's like, well, I just don't think Sienna should come. She's like, yeah, she gave us bad vibes. He goes, yeah, I don't want to go in on her too much, even though I went on her when I woke up and then went on her on the ride here. And then I'm now going to go in on her again. But like, I've never felt the energy of a person I felt coming off of her. Like, I never, ever met someone with that energy. And then we see a clip of her coming in going, hi, and him going,
I was like, when she walked in the room, I like panicked. I poured like champagne because I thought we were going to hang out. And then I was like, I need to go fix the reservation downstairs. She was out of control.
What a monster. So then the snorkeling crew is now talking after snorkeling and stuff, and they're like, oh, that was so fun, Ryan, you know, I guess, or I don't care. So Ryan's like, we did this because of you, Shep. This is a great trip, so thank you. And Shep's like, I don't know about that, please don't remind me I'm here. Gosh.
Well, Shep, does this beach remind you of any beaches in Vietnam? Is that going to make you feel better? No. Molly's like, well, look, we're on this beautiful beach. Things are great right now. And Taylor's like, please don't remind me that I'm here. And Shep's like, I'm having a hard time. And Molly goes, because of Sienna? No, because of global warming. It just all of a sudden hit him. Of course, because of Sienna, Molly.
And Taylor's like, yeah, well, this ain't my circus anymore, but I just hope this is a wake-up call to maybe date people his own age. How old is Taylor?
Well, yeah, why don't you were part of that too.
She's 30. So, okay. So you're 4 years different. Huge difference, Taylor.
Yeah. So Molly is like, yeah, getting old. And then so Shep sees like a stone. He's like, what is that? And Ryan's like, I think it's a silver dollar. Oh, gosh, coral or something. And he's like, you think I can skip it? Like, no. She's like, how many times do you think I could skip it? So then he goes off to the ocean and
he's like, Taylor, this is why I'm going to prove you wrong. Because Taylor's like, no, you can't skip it. It's going to fall right into the water. I'm right, you're wrong. He's like, oh, I'm right and you're wrong. What about that? She goes, no, I'm right and you're wrong. It's going to hit the water and go straight in. And then Molly goes, actually, you're a little high above the water. You need to adjust. And she goes, don't help him. Taylor's like, don't help him. And then he skips it.
And the audience is like, boo, fuck Taylor for not having more faith in the skipping stone. What a bitch. Yeah. What a miserable ice queen bitch. Next time, support the stone.
Is this the part, maybe this is later, I don't remember, but is this the part where Molly's like, I mean, like, Shep deserves, like, better. Like, I could be into him. Like,
Shep deserves someone who gives a shit, like someone who wants to support your stone skipping, someone who's going to give you tips, someone's going to lift you up like Josh Groban and make sure that stone gets 3 hops before it plunks into the water and hits a little fish, a clownfish on the forehead and gives it brain damage. So there was something so funny about this. That Molly, like that this skipping stone moment was like, it was like a A/B test between support and no support, but also it was like, poor Shep is heartbroken, so he's gonna stand by some water and skip stones. It's like, oh God, get over it.
There's Shep being mature. I'm gonna skip some stones. So then at the other place, Benita's phone dings and we find out that JT has landed. And they're like, wow.
Well, I hope he got some little airplane wings on the plane. That's what they give little boys.
Did he get his wings? That was so funny. And Shep says that he's excited for JT. And then Austin back at Snorkeling. But then Austin back at Fish Fry is like, well, Shep is just feeling all sorts of something. And Vinny's like, well, have you guys seen him infatuated with someone like Sienna before? And like, never. I've never seen him like this. I just hope he doesn't spin out. And Austin's like, "Ugh, I'm looking away." So upset that Craig
I was
said
like,
that.
oh, Craig, God. He's like, what? Tell me. I didn't mean to say something bad. He's like, I understand. No, dude. You know what? It's not cool, man. It's not cool. Okay? Because, like, he really wants it. He really wants it. I'm very angry.
And so Austin's like, Craig says that he's always rooting for everybody, but
I have far more empathy than Craig does.
I love that it always comes down to a competition on the show. It's not really even standing up for Shep. It's just like,
I'm the pathetic one.
Yeah. And he's like, because I know the underlying tones of him saying that. And like the underlying tones are like, I hope that Shep doesn't turn back to the bottle because then he doesn't have, control of his emotions. And I have control over my emotions because I'm like a man and everything. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, you totally have all the control over your emotions. Unless only if you have the biggest room possible. It's insane right now.
yeah, and that's a very good point, And Craig is kind of blind to his own behavior at all times, which I think is kind of funny. He's like,
I just wish people could control their emotions like me.
cut back to yesterday.
30-year-olds don't have to share rooms. I'm rich.
Idiot.
So then Craig is like, you have to tell Austin or he'll be like, oh Austin goes to the bathroom and then they're talking about like, do you want to go to another bar? And everyone's like, yeah. Well, Craig proposes going to another bar, but then he's like, but you guys have to be the one to tell Austin. Otherwise he'll be like, why do we always have to do what Craig wants to do? Which is kind of funny. So they go to another bar and they get some drinks and there's a whole bunch of like rum or something on top of one and Madison's pouring out. They're drinking. So anyway, Craig and Madison go off to talk by the beach. And Craig's like, it's just like, I haven't gotten to talk in so long and I feel like life in Charleston for the group has just gotten like real fractured. I'm like, yeah, well, you moved out to the suburbs. So yeah, it is a little fractured. You're not there anymore.
I mean, yeah, you don't hang out with your friends. You tried to dump Shep last year and kind of Austin this year. So listen, I'm not even saying you were wrong in that. I was kind of on your side in that stuff.
Yeah, but don't act like don't act surprised that then it's like fractured.
And so Madison's like,
I know.
and he says, well,
Like, things haven't been the same with me in Austin since all this started. Yeah, but y'all are like brothers. Yeah, but he doesn't like me, though. Like, I just don't know why he hates me.
maybe because last
shut
week
up.
you tried to fucking take his business away from him for $30,000. Like, hello, are you watching the show that you're on, sir?
I know. He's like, Austin was like, I just want to hang out with you more. And I tried to make plans to golf with you. And you ditched me so you could garden in your backyard. And you put it on Instagram. And now you've tried to buy me out of like my own podcast for like a lowballed number. And he's like, he hates me. I don't know why he hates me. It's like, you can't play the victim on this one, Craig.
Yeah, it's pretty clear to everyone else. So then back at the table, Sally's like, well, where's everybody else? There's like literally no storylines. And Austin's like, well, Craig and Madison are down by the water talking. Like, I'm just trying to keep it copacetic. And yeah, so then we go back to Craig and he's like,
I can see it in his face. Like, I know he loves me and he doesn't want to hate me. But when he looks at me, I see his face twinge.
well, look, in his defense, his face twinges every second of the day. I've never seen Austin's face not going.
Yeah. He's very twinge forward. And then we see a montage of like Craig being like, hi, everyone. And it's like, tss. Austin looks away. You guys want to sit at that table? Tss. Austin looks away. So I'm like, why do you fucking hate me so much? Ugh. Craig, we just went over this. So Madison is like, well, y'all will figure it out. Clearly the Band-Aid that we put on our relationship is starting to come off rapidly. So Madison goes, well, I mean, at the end of the day, they're sisters for life. they're sisters for life. And I think they got to get back together. And, I don't want to choose sides, but I think that Craig is taking it a little bit too far.
I think y'all will always be friends. I mean, as long as there's a television show.
He's like,
That's good. That's what I want.
and so that's it. The saga continues. Will the boys continue to be friends?
Who knows? I guess we'll find out more next week. Next week, it looks like it's the big JT joins the group and gets into a fight with everyone at dinner scene. So that's going to be fun to watch. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Have a wonderful weekend. Keep an ear out for our Traders recap, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Our way is the Amber way.
It's the Foster and the Furious. It's Amanda Foster. It's Always Automatic with Ashley Otto.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
Put your hands together for Carly Clapp. Catherine DiBernardo has our hardo.
Get on the right foot with Chrissy Offutt.
Dana C. Dana Do.
We never miss her call. It's Diane Call.
Erin McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas. Jamie, she has no last namey. You'll never hide from Heidi Eleanor Jones. I go, you go, we all go for Hugo.
Hava Nagila Weber.
We could all learn from Jennifer Kearns.
She's our kind of mess. It's Jennifer Messer.
Sipped some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
Knock, knock, knocking on Katie Mannock's door. She's our favorite streamer, Caroline Peacock.
Kristen the Piston Anderson.
Get a bee in your bonnet with Lacey B.
Rigging the funk, it's Leslie Plunkett.
She gets a name from us. It's Lindsay D.
Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino.
Fresh as a daisy, it's Maisie McHenry.
We love her on the rocks. It's Melissa Cox.
Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
This is Livin' with Michelle Vivian.
I love a ya, Olivia Williamson. Tastier than Flanderson, it's Rachel Manderson.
She sure is swell. It's Raquel.
Yes, we canna, it's Savannah.
Cast a spell with Shannon Spellman. Let's share with Sharon Eldridge. The Bay Area Betches. Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
She's VVIP, it's Amanda V.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD. She's got a leg up. It's Beth Ani.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Who, what, why, where, and Gwen Pentland.
It's our queen. It's Queen Laifah.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall.
Know your worth with Jason Kurth.
We got our wish. It's Jen Plish. She's not harsh. She's Jill Hirsch. She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo. We love him madly. It's Kyle Pod Shadley. We're ride or die for Lisa Ryder Barron. She's a whiz. It's Liz Sarthy. Always killing it. It's Lola Alkalani.
The incredible edible Matthews sisters.
She eases our woes. It's Melissa St. Rose.
Give him hell, Miss Noel. She's the queen bee. It's Sarah Lemke. Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.